All right, we're back here at the Function House. It's Tuesday night, so you know that means it's live from Redhook. And tonight, we want to welcome a very special group to the show. The one and only Statik Link.
What up, what up?
What's up, guys?
Welcome.
How's it going?
What up?
How's it going?
How you guys doing?
Your first time in Redhook?
It's my first time, actually, man. I mean, I've driven by a bunch, but we were talking about this earlier, actually. I was like, I've never even been down this way.
Well,
So,
welcome.
yeah,
Welcome
man.
to the Function House.
This is a really
You
cool
had to be in
spot.
Redhook. You're from Flatbush,
Of
right?
course, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I've
came
been
to
to
a
Red Hook
couple
before.
of concerts out here in Red Hook, like during the summer. So yeah, I've been here a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah, they have, well, I mean, Redhook's been popping these days. They actually had Formula One racing here.
Really?
Race. Yeah, electric, yeah.
Wait. Electric Formula One?
Yeah.
One cars.
They
Yeah.
had that
Word.
back in July.
There was like
Um,
500,000 people down here.
Yeah, it was
They
Really?
built a whole
I didn't
stage
even know
back
that was a
here.
thing. That's crazy. That's dope.
Only in Red Hook.
Yeah.
Only in Red Hook.
Yeah, so...
So more importantly, how did you guys all link up? You know, you being from Flatbush, you being from Queens, you Ohio,
Yeah, Toledo, Ohio.
originally Ohio. So what made this, how'd you link up and what made you put this together?
Well, so I produce under the stage name Statik Link. I've been producing, man, for years, you know what I mean? And I basically was doing a lot of trap music. So I released a bunch of records a couple years ago that did really well, and I loved it. I did hip-hop. I started with hip-hop. I was making hip-hop beats forever, and then I moved. When I came to New York, I started doing more like trap music because trap was big. This is around the time like Original Dawn was happening. And that
So
kind
what
of
are some of the records that you put out and that did well for you?
Yeah. So I had a record that I put out with Dirty Duck Audio. It was called 100 Hertz. And I used to have a partner, Dan, that we did music together. We had this record that was really big called Clap When She Walkin'. I still receive royalty checks for it, and I put it out 2 years ago, you know.
Like
And it was
25
huge.
cent checks that come in the mail?
What'd you say?
Those checks for 25
Yeah,
cents
like
that
the
come in
ass
the mail?
cap. Yeah, you're right. No, man. I mean, I got some good ones, man, and like it was really cool, you know, like to see the response for that and to hear some of like I was, you know, I remember like the first couple of times I was played on like Diplo and Friends and stuff like that, and just the feeling.
Great feeling, right?
It's crazy, man. Like you know what I mean? Like, and that was funny because at that point I already been producing hip hop for 6 or 7 years, you know what I mean? And I literally was like, yo, this is cool. Like, I can do this and be myself and not have to rely on working with rappers. So anyways, fast forward past that, basically Dan decided to leave the group. He has a really successful audio engineering business. And around that time, I kind of wanted to change. And, you know, you guys can probably see the trumpet up here. I play trumpet, and I play bass guitar and guitar and piano. And basically, I just kind of wanted to bring back an element of live instrumentation to dance music. You know what I mean? And I saw artists like Big Gigantic and Brass Tracks and people like that who were doing this, like, funk-infused, like, trap and dubstep and future bass and stuff. And I was like, yo, I really like this, you know? So I started doing that. And these guys, man, are incredibly talented. Like, to even have them as part of my group.
I heard him cutting before the show.
Yeah, right?
I'm decent.
So
He got off the guitar and got on the turntables. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this kid's cutting.
well,
and
it's not
playing guitar.
even just that. So he's a great producer. Like, we work on records. He actually sang on my last project I put out an album back in May. He sang on one of the records that you guys are going to hear tonight. Loop Rouge, which he'll introduce himself in a second, incredible artist. Like, really lucky to be working with this guy. Carnage is an incredible DJ. You know, like, basically, I was just kind of like, yo, I want somebody that brings an element to the group to cut, essentially like real hip hop style cutting. You know what I mean? And Carnage, man, this guy is the most humble guy ever, bro. I'll tell you what. I've seen him cut and destroy it, and everybody in the crowd's just standing there like with the jaw dropped like that.
He's been very calm, cool, and collected. since
Yo,
I've been here, so.
well, and then he'll
I
be,
be
you
chilling,
know,
man. I be chilling. I be just relaxing.
That's the way, you know, it's always silent but deadly, right?
yeah,
So
man.
you
So,
just
like,
gotta-
you know, it's crazy because we'll be done, and I'll be like, yo, bro, you were killing it on that, and he'll be like, nah, it was cool,
Yeah.
man. I miss
I'm
this.
you know
like,
what it is? I'm my biggest critic. So it's like anytime someone gives me props, I'll say thank you. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, that
Yeah,
was
you always
just-
think you could have did better.
Yeah, always.
But see,
always,
man,
That's a typical
always.
DJ,
But
man.
see, that's what I wanted. You know, when I was putting the band together, I want somebody to want it just as much as me. And I'm never, like we were talking earlier, you guys were getting everything ready. But I said, we've done a bunch of shows and we've had a great response, and I don't think I've ever been happy. And they're literally, we did a show, we played Reese Beach the state park. We did like the amphitheater there or whatever. Like back when was that? August.
Yeah, August. Yeah.
And
August.
yo, like these like old timers, man, came up to us was like, I saw you playing the horn. I've never even heard music like this. This is one of the illest things I've ever seen. And I was just kind of like, yeah, man, you know. And the old time I was thinking, man, like, you know, the music on the right fader was cutting out. You know what I mean? And like, so I was like, you know, and it was fine, you know. So like, that's kind of the whole idea when we put it together, you know. And hopefully, you know, we're working on a project as the Statik Link experience, you know, because right now we're playing records that I produced, you know, when the album came out, you know. So we're working on our own thing because, you know, these guys, like I said, I want them to shine just as much as my own stuff, you know what I mean? So that's the kind of goal right now.
How'd you guys come up with your stage names?
What are the stage names? Let's go through them.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm taking all the time.
So it's all good. Remember, I'm the silent guy, so it's all good. I don't like to talk like that. But
Give him a mic and he's just gonna go.
yeah.
That's right.
Mine is DJ Max Carnage. How I came up with the name Max Carnage, if anybody is a fan of the Spider-Man comics, you know, one of the villains was named Venom. Carnage was a spawn off of Venom. And there was like at the time there was a bunch of DJ Carnages out there, and I was just like, man, I need to make it different. Because I don't want to be confused with this guy, that person. So I was like, all right, let me just put the Max.
Your name is Max.
The Max on top.
Yep.
The stage name's still Max, but I put the Max on top of it, and then it really was Maximum Carnage from the Spider-Man video game for like Sega Genesis, like back in the day. So I was like, all right,
cool.
Maximum Carnage is cool, but it's long as hell. So how can I shorten it? So let me just make it Max to make it more, I don't know, more appealing. Yeah,
Sure.
on a bill or something like
So
that.
you were born and raised in Flatbush, right?
Yep.
So you grew up a hip hop DJ,
Yep.
DJing clubs, or like inspired to like be a scratch DJ and battles and stuff like that?
I'm not even inspired to be a scratch DJ. Just inspired to just be a DJ. Like it was never really one particular part that I gravitated towards more. I just wanted to do it like learn how to scratch, learn how to mix, learn how to rock a party, learn how to perform in front of X amount of people. I just wanted to just be a DJ, and then I worked on each skill individually.
Were there any DJs that you looked up to growing up?
We got a lot of time. Or no?
Well, give us like 3 that sort of inspired you.
Man, 3 DJs that inspire me. Jazzy Jeff, who's the default. That's the default, man. If you don't have him in like one of your top 5s or top 10, something's wrong with
Just
you.
hating if you don't have
Something's wrong with you. DJ Scratch. DJ Scratch is definitely one, and ironically enough, DJ Green Lantern. Like a lot of times on hot
ill drop Greenland.
Whew, boy,
Man,
what?
Yo,
Love
that,
his drop.
let me tell you. Remember them shady mixtapes that he did?
Oh, man,
during the
Greenland
beef with,
was-
like,
oh,
Ja
my
Rule
gosh.
and oh my God, man.
Man, I used to listen to his show like religiously when he used to come on Hot 97. Like I would stay up. I would find out what song he was playing. I'd try to go get the records if I could.
No
like, I
Shazam
was a
back
fan.
then.
No Shazam back then. It was the Shazam we had was remember the lyrics, write down the lyrics, go to the store. Yo, the song went like this, blah, 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 blah. That was our Shazam.
That was.
So you used to shop in Beach Street, right?
B Street, what's the other one? The other one down the street from B Street. I never really went to that one, but I would always go. That would be my second option, but B Street was
like,
number 1.
Beach Street was good because there would be a DJ playing all the hot records.
Yeah.
So like you'd walk into Beach Street and they'd be playing all the records that you heard in the club, and then you just be like, "Yo, put one aside." For
They
me.
would
Put that
they would
aside for me.
they would front on you if you didn't really have a name though. They would kind of front on you a
You
little
gotta
bit.
spend
They'd be
money.
like,
That was the
yeah.
thing. If you walk out with like 100
Yeah,
records
then
on a Friday,
they'll let
they
you
know,
into they'll let you into the back to get all the goodies and stuff like that. Yep.
So what about you, man? I heard some cuts coming out of you. I didn't, you picked up a guitar when you came in here, and then I seen you on here scratching. So I know you got some DJ roots also.
Change of hats a lot. I'm DJ Loop Rouge or just Loop Rouge, depending on what day you catch me, right? Been playing the guitar for a couple years, kind of right after college and stuff. Did that for a while, playing in a flamenco group,
I
actually.
mean, after med school.
Dropped out of med school to play in a band. Yeah, correct. So I was in a flamenco band for a couple years, very different. very like classically trained and stuff. And then after a while, came back. I was in El Salvador. I was in a different country, down in Central America, doing all this. Came to the States to go to school for audio engineering and just kind of really become self-sufficient in music.
Did you go to school for audio?
Yep.
Where'd you go?
I went to Nassau. I
Okay.
was out of Nassau, did the program out there, and learned what I had to learn. And just the main deal was becoming self-sufficient, especially down in Central America. It's hard to find a good place where you can go record. So that was my main goal, just be that guy that, like, I can do everything.
So your plan was to go back to South America?
Yeah, the plan is to go back. Then being here, I started working, tried to get a band together again, and it's hard. You know, you get a little bit older, people have their lives, schedules,
Ain't that the
families.
truth?
Yep. And so it just became really difficult, and I decided to, I already knew how to DJ a little bit. My dad used to DJ back in the day, and so I kind of knew some bases of it, and I was already producing a little bit. So I decided to kind of take that more seriously, get more into it, and then it just kind of started kicking off. I've competed in DMCs, done a couple of festivals, traveled a bunch DJing. I actually DJ a lot for MCs throughout Latin America. So go back down to El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, going to Panama next month, Costa Rica. So I'm just traveling around doing DJing, basically.
It's great, man.
It should tell you something, man. The fact that you heard him cutting beforehand, and I chose him to play guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's very, very talented.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, very.
You don't want to ask me to play the guitar though. That might. Nah,
It's like we
don't
need to
wanna-
switch up.
You
now.
don't want-
So
nah,
look,
don't
you
do
guys,
that.
you guys are a group, right? So
Yeah.
what goes into putting this show together? How often are you guys meeting to practice?
Honestly, man, to keep it 100, I mean, we literally meet like maybe once, like before our shows. I mean, honestly, like I mean, obviously we communicate through email and stuff like that. You know, like if I change like the set list out, you know what I mean? I'll be like, yo, I added this song in. Here's what it is. Here are the stems for this particular part. Like Carnage has particular pieces he needs to cut over the records while he's playing, that kind of thing. So I'll send it to him. But yeah, I mean, honestly, and when we meet, when we play, the whole element of this whole thing, and you guys are going to see this here in a minute, is more or less like a jam band. When I say that loosely because we actually are playing parts, not like we're just freestyling over the whole thing, but it's really loose, you know what I mean? And that was the whole element of the whole thing. I wanted to be very feel-oriented because, like I said, I'm not joking when I say this, and this is the millionth time I said it. These guys are so talented that I literally don't have to really be like, yo, we need to practice this day, and it has to be at this particular time. You know, all I can say is, all right, so this last show, there was something that was a little fishy that I really didn't like. Can you fix this? It's fixed. You know what I mean? So, like, honestly, like we just vibe really well.
So basically, when you come up with some new stuff, you just jump on an email, jump on a phone call, and then you all collaborate.
That's
like
exactly
that.
what
Try
it is.
something out.
Send it over here. Let's make it
Right,
happen.
and then we do one rehearsal, you know, to make sure that everybody had their part. You know what I mean? Make sure they kind of know that particular section.
So the set you're doing tonight is something you guys worked on a bunch of times.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this set actually minus
A bunch.
two or three songs. I mean, we've played this 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. Maybe
Yeah.
more.
I think so.
So how long did it take you to come up with this set?
Oh man. I mean, so probably like 2 months, because you know, basically.
Meeting only one time
Well, no. This has been done many. We met many times off
to
of
come
this.
up with this
Yeah,
one set.
yeah.
And then
So
now
when
it's
I
just like you'll
was
meet.
yeah. So when I say like when I add in a new element, then we meet. You know what I mean? But we've been playing the same set for about 2 months now. Minus like I added in, I think 3 or 4 new songs this time. That one's a new one that I produced. That's just a remix. It's a Led Zeppelin remix actually. And other than that, everything else is pretty similar. But we played this venue back. What was the talent venue? When did we do that?
Like 3 months ago.
But anyways, like we changed the
back.
whole thing. So that one we rehearsed for much more. But we found out with that particular one, the crowd loved it, man. And I think it was even Carnage while we were playing. He was like, "Yo, this is like what we should continue doing," because it was just really high energy and it was like knocking them over the head the entire time.
Yeah.
Where normally we kind of start slower, and it was a more traditional DJ set where you start. You know, you bring them up to the peak and then you kind of bring them back down again. And we just found out with this particular set, it just doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? We kind of we want to hit them right away with what we got, you know? So you guys will see, like, we'll start with high energy stuff almost immediately. So.
Mm-hmm.
Got anything else, Mike?
So how do you guys go about getting your gigs?
Honestly, right now, just reaching out to people and kind of, you know, explaining the whole process. We have some videos. Obviously, you guys are generous enough to have us on. I sent
Thank
the
you,
videos
thank
to
you.
you guys. Yeah, really appreciate it. Because like I was saying, before we went on camera, it's really tough because I think a lot of people get scared by all the moving elements because, I would still classify us as like a DJ gig, but
Well, you guys are all DJs, right? So
Right.
you do have your solo DJ careers
right,
also.
exactly. Yeah. So like we all play out.
Yeah.
We all play out independently, just not as the experience. And with this thing, I think when people like the contacts that we have are very club oriented. You know what I mean? So the people that we reach out to sometimes are just like, I don't know if we're gonna have enough space for that.
Well,
or I
this
don't know.
Yeah.
this to me is more like a special event type of
Yeah.
showcase.
Yeah.
Right.
know?
And that was the whole thing. Because my thought behind the process was all right. So these people are going to these concerts, they're going to these festivals, and they're paying $70 to $100 to stand there and watch somebody on turntables just mix. I'm not like trying to like throw shots or anything, but I was saying
Talk about it.
Well, I'm just
Talk
saying
about it.
It's it's being honest. You know what I mean? Like if you're a turntablist, like we saw, like Shifty's been doing the thing here, and that's great. He's cutting it
Very
up.
dope.
It's
Yeah,
really
that was-
dope.
that was
you know what I
crazy.
mean? And so like that is different. Shifty kills it. You know what I mean? I would pay money to go see
he's
him
moving,
play.
He's
And there's a
moving.
lot of other
It's like
DJs,
a lot of stuff.
right? And there's other DJs that I would do that because they're adding in elements of like chopping things up and scratching and doing tricks. That's cool. But one thing I never really got my mind around, and I was guilty because I was doing this. I'd get booked to play because like when I told you guys I had the big track, I got 2015 I probably played 40 to 50 shows all over the country in a year. So I was playing different venues. And I was just like, man, these people are coming out to see me, and all I'm doing is mixing on CDJs. I'm not really doing anything
Got that
special.
money though, right?
Yeah, it was dope. I mean, the money part
Under
was
the
dope.
mattress.
Yeah, and actually it's funny. Now all my friends are they're like, yo, why'd you quit making that music, man? You should just get the easy checks. But it's not fun.
So when you were just gigging, DJing, what
Yeah.
music were you playing? What type of music?
Oh, it was
was
trap.
It was just trap.
It was heavy trap. Like I'm saying, like I don't even know how to explain it. Like hybrid dubstep
So
style
do you
trap.
incorporate any trap
Yeah.
in this?
Yeah, so my new album that I just released, it was the first time that I actually ever put a house record on one of my on my record. Actually, the record that that Loop did here, he did the record is a house record, and I had another one that was on there too that has another artist named 3 PM. Both of them were house records, and I never even dropped a house record ever. So I wanted to pull Statik Link away from being this trap guy to being like just a producer, you know what I mean, and being able to work with multiple genres regardless. Now it's still dance, but
Jack of all trades.
trying. Yeah, that's the whole
Well,
point.
you also have to you want to appeal to more audiences.
Yeah,
right? So-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, I took a lot of flack from people who followed my music. They were kind of like, I get people hit me up on Facebook or whatever, and they'll be like, "Yo, let me send you this track. You got anything new?" And I'll send them something new, and they'll be like, "This isn't really my style." Oh, why? Oh, it's got a trumpet in it, and it's rock. This guitar. My Led Zeppelin remix I just did. Some guy told me that he didn't like it because it had too many rock guitars in it. It's Led Zeppelin, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I had some kid tell me that like the vocals were terrible. And it's like, do you mean the quality? He's like, no, I mean the actual singer. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. And I mean, it is. And that's just the where we're at now. And it's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure
Yeah.
people said the same thing when
Well,
when I was that
you
age.
have to see the feeds when we're doing the show. I
I'm
mean,
sure.
people have these comments.
No
sometimes.
one has anything nice to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't let it bother me. You know what I mean? I make music for fun. I get to hang out with my friends, and we make tracks. And that's just my living.
I mean,
I'm really lucky.
I guess
it's
there's certain opinions you could respect. Like if Quincy Jones came in and like gave you his opinion,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
maybe you'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, like, all
well,
right, maybe-
and honestly, some of that feedback too, like it does bother me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. When I put out this record, I honestly felt like I had something really special, and it did really well. I actually sold the most records, like full physical copies ever made. I got them pressed up in vinyl. I did like all this cool stuff, and the response from the people was really, really good. But it's just some of the people that were used to my older stuff, man. They're just I'm just like, I don't want to be making trap forever, man.
So it's obvious there's a lot of work that goes into what you do.
Oh, yeah,
Where
yeah.
would you love for this to go?
I mean, honestly, we want to tour. I mean, we want
Yeah.
to play. We want
Yeah.
to play bigger venues because I think the whole idea of this is like, are you guys? I'm sure you guys know who Trentino is. So Trentino is one of my homies. I've known Trentino for a long time. Trentino plays drums, and he is phenomenal at the drums. And Trent has always told me, he was like, yo, you bring this to California, because he lives in LA now. he was like, I'm telling you, bro. He was like, I will throw down with you. So the idea would be to get this to a bigger venue where we can add in elements of just whatever. You know, if somebody wants to play saxophone, we have them come out and rock out. If somebody wants to play live drums, to come out and lock out, whether it's triggering EDM drums or it's just playing an acoustic kit.
You should hook up with Younger.
Oh, yeah, dude. Younger's,
Dude is
oh,
ill.
he's so dope. So ill. You know, what's funny is I show a lot of people that his Ableton videos, like how he uses Ableton, because we use Ableton for what we do, and the background tracks and stuff he's looping live. That dude is a monster. He's a monster. Like, it's crazy.
Well, look, we're happy to have you here. I love
ready to
something
rock, man.
different. I love something different here,
Well-
and that's why we booked you. So
We're happy to be
Thank
here,
you,
man.
thank you.
I honestly,
Definitely.
this is so dope. Like I said, I've been watching your show for a while, and I really like what you guys are doing, especially the versatility. You guys have, like, I saw Slink on here, saw
Yeah.
some techno DJs.
Yep.
You know, I've seen everything, and I think it's really dope that you guys take the time to pay attention to the culture, you know, and kind of try to have different things and different people come in.
somebody
that's a good
has
vision.
to do it.
Somebody's
You have
got to
keep
do it,
alive.
man. And as an artist, I thoroughly appreciate it. So
Yeah.
We
thank you.
appreciate
Definitely.
you, and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
very
So
much.
we're not going
Thank
to take any breaks. You guys are ready to go, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're ready to
pretty
go.
All right, cool. So let's do it.